What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a really fun Transformers card to talk about. It has been revealed by the lovely folks over at WTF at TFW. That is Transformers World. It's a really cool podcast. It's a really good podcast. I would heartily recommend you go and check it out. Even if you're not into Transformers generally, subscribe. Wait for the episodes that are TCG focused. Listen to them. Don't listen to the non-TCG ones if you don't want to. Their TCG podcasts are awesome. You should be listening to them. And you should be checking out this reveal they just did. It's Fangry. Firstly, the name Fangry is awesome. Secondly, now I've said this before, I am not a huge Transformers lore guy. I love Transformers, but I don't have the Transformers knowledge that so many other people do. I didn't know who Fangry was until this. I love Fangry. What does Fangry do? Well, we're starting off with a 6-cost body. That is tiny. 6 cost for a body is absolutely tiny. You can end up with a 7-cost Titan Master including head. That's a little bit ridiculous. And I tell you what, for a 6-star, these stats are good. Attack of 4, defense of 2, health of 11. Back in Wave 1, when stats were a tiny bit higher, we expected 412-2 on an 8 cost. So 411-2 on a 6 cost is kind of awesome. The stats on Fangry, don't be sleeping on them. They are really good. It does fall into that trap that a bunch of them have lately, in that it is a beast, and we've had a bunch of beasts coming up in Wave 5. Skull Smasher, my personal favourite up to now. Let's see if Fangry can beat it. But it is a weird situation that we're getting so many of these beasts coming around, and yet we don't have any cards that support beasts. I'm sure we will in the not too distant future. Now, if we start off in bot mode, while this is defending against an enemy that has fewer stars than him, this has tough too. Oh, so it's vanilla in body mode? No, it's not entirely vanilla in body mode. But the problem you're going to find here is this can be worked around. Make no mistake about it, right? A 6-star character with 411-2 and tough 2 is nuts. Absolutely nuts. However, the problem is you're not going to be against that many. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a bit of a trend in the Transformers TCG, especially in the last couple of months, of playing a big card, someone like Optimus Prime, and then fleshing your deck out with smaller bots. And there are a couple of different ways to do this. We've seen it done with traditional bots. Things like Flame War or RC have seen a little bit of play and a little bit of love. We've also seen things like the Sentinels, like Autobot Hot Rod, my personal favourite of them, that's seen a bit of play and a little bit of love. And then even more recently than that, we've seen your Micromasters, especially the Airstrike Patrol, coming in and supporting these dudes. But what your opponent can essentially do here is just attack you with the bigger bot. Now, that might be what you're looking for. You might want them to attack you with a bigger bot, so that your other characters are being kept safe from the bigger bot or something along those lines. But the fact of the matter is your opponent can play around it. If you're against those littler bots, something like Flame War, something like Raider Tailwind, in that regard you're awesome. Remember, Raider Tailwind wants to be the last of the Airstrike Patrol standing because you get the stats boost. You get +1 attack and +1 defense for each Airstrike Patrol in your KO area. So you want to be like a tiny little 5 attack, 3 defense character. It's awesome. But then you'll get tough too. Similarly, against Flame War or Autobot Hot Rod or things of that nature, you will get the boost. But the point I'm making here is this is not a boost you're going to get all of the time. It really depends what deck you're playing against, but you're a 6-star. And it says fewer stars not equal to or fewer. That's not going to be that often. The good news is when we go into alt mode, when it literally just turns into a bat, and we're talking proper organic here, that ain't no mechanoid, not that I can see at least, proper bat. Although I'm sure there are people that know way more about Transformers than I that disagree, in which case there's a comment section. educate me. I'd be delighted. While this is attacking an enemy that has more stars than him, this has bold too. Now this I like a whole bunch more. I'm not going to go through exactly what I just went through, but I just explain how a lot of the time you've either got characters more expensive than you, or one more expensive with a couple cheaper. Either way, you are going to be good here. And sure, your opponent can make sure other characters are tapped, and your bigger characters that you want to be going after are untapped so you can't go after them, and that's a little bit sad. It can be played around a bit, but there's only so hard you can go here. And 4 attack bold 2 on a 6-star is good. When I say 6-star, I know you've got to get ahead, but remember we can literally get like 1 star ahead, so it's not the end of the world here. And then what you're doing is just awesome damage. Your star to potential damage ratio here is extremely high, and it really does need to be borne out here that you're a melee character, which means you can use Power Sword and all of a sudden you're sitting there rocking bold 5. As a side note, you are a melee character in both modes, so when you're in body mode, you could potentially have tough 5, and tough 5 is ridiculous. Like properly ridiculous. We've seen bold 5 on cards like Dino Chomp. You don't see tough 5. You just don't. There is no card that we've seen that gives you tough 5. As a side note, there's no card around that gives you tough 6, and there's no card around that gives you tough 7. You probably could have guessed those last two. The point I'm making here is this, being a melee character, having the melee tricks, and having these skills can make it really awesome. And you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. Both of these skills can be played around by good skilled players, but then again, you can be a good skilled player and you can get into a game of cat and mouse or rat and mouse or bat and mouse or however you want to phrase it. The point I'm making here is, as a 6-star, this really excites me. Plus, I love the design of the character and I love the art in alt mode. It's one of my favourite arts we've seen in the game. So this could be really, really good. Now, these reveals have been coming in pairs. We've got a body, we need a head. Oh, look. It's Briscoe. And Briscoe's a weird one to me, because this is the first one, and please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but as far as I'm aware, this is the first one where we've now got 3 heads that all do different degrees of the same thing. It is a 2-star head that gives you +3 health. Bearing in mind, and I've got to give a shout out to the lovely Alex Brock over on the Facebook group, who is collecting together all of these heads into a really nice, easy graphic for us. It is making my life so much easier. But if you want the really cheap version, then what you do is you go Kreb, which gives you +2 health, but on a 1-star character, which is quite nice. If you want the good version, you go Grax, which is the +5 health, but on a 3-star character. Oh. Yeah, we've literally just got different degrees. It's essentially, you're getting +2 health for 1 star, +3 for 2 stars, or +5 for 3 stars. Either way, I'm kind of loving it, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing here is, you can basically go, right, I want extra health. And then you look at your deck list that you've been making, and you make that decision of how many stars you can spare. If you've got exactly 3 stars remaining, you're probably going Grax. Because you've got the opportunity to play Grax, you might as well. However, if you don't, if you've only got 2 stars, then that's where we're going into Briscoe. And if you've only got 1 star, you're going Kreb. And I love that about these heads. It is really like, once you've got all of these heads, at least it looks like that's where we're heading, that once you've got all of these heads, you are basically going to be able to go, right, I want to add health. How many stars have I got? I want to add defense. How many stars have I got? Bold, etc., etc. But I'm fairly sure this is the first one we've seen where we've now got essentially the same keyword or boost or whatever you want to call it, but 3 different variations thereof. and I kind of love it. No, I'm lying to you, bold. We've seen bold 1, 2, and 3. Still, we're pretty close here. We're pretty close here. Do I love this head? Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. Like I say, if you've got 2 stars and you want more health, this is your head. Would I play it on Fangry? I don't think I would. Being a melee character and having pretty good attack and pretty good defense, and potentially bold and potentially tough, I'm probably going more bold here. Honestly, if I can spare the stars, what I really want to go here is Clobber. I want to go full bold with Fangry. Clobber gives you bold 3. It's 4 stars, so it is expensive. Alright, it is expensive. If you've not got that to spare, might I suggest Flame Out, that comes in at 3 stars, but gives you bold 2. And if you really can't go for that, why don't you go Parsec, that gives you bold 1, but only costs 1 star. If I've got bold already and I'm going bold with a power sword, I just want to build that up. That would make me happy. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know if this makes you happy. I want to know how good you think this is. I want to know how psyched you are. So let me know in the comments section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy. That's where we talk Transformers and a whole bunch of other games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.